Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our next session on the short story The Everyday Use by Alice Walker. Today, in this discussion, we will discuss the art of characterization and the symbols used by the writer in this short story. Dear students, in her short story Everyday Use, Alice Walker takes up what is a recurrent theme in her works: the representation of the harmony as well as the conflicts and struggles within African American culture. Everyday Use focuses on an encounter between members of the rural Johnson family. This encounter, which takes place Wendy, the only member of the family to receive a formal education, and her male companion return to visit Dee's mother and younger sister Maggie, is essentially an encounter between two different interpretations of, or approaches to, or visions of the African American culture. Dear students, Alice Walker employs characterization and symbolism to highlight the difference between these interpretations and ultimately to uphold one of them, showing that culture and heritage are parts of daily life, cannot be separated from day to day life. Dear students, as we have gone through the contents of the short story, now we very well know that the opening of the story is largely involved in characterizing Mrs. Johnson, the mama, Dee's mother, and the narrator of the story. More specifically, Mrs. Johnson's language points to a certain relationship between herself and her physical surroundings. She waits for Dee in the yard that Maggie and I made so clean and wavy. The emphasis on the physical characteristics of the yard, the player in it, manifested by the word so, points to the attachment that she and Maggie have to their home and to the everyday practice of their lives, going through the same cycle of life, again and again. Thus, the yard, in fact, is not just a yard, it is like an extended living room for them, confirming that it exists for her not only as an object of property, but also as the place of her life, as a sort of expression of herself. This is the sort of expression she wants. Her description of herself likewise shows a familiarity and comfort with her surroundings and with herself. She is a large, big boned woman with rough, man working hands. A roughened house lady indeed. In other words, she knows the reality of her body and accepts it, even finding comfort both physically and psychologically in the way that her fat keeps her hot and zero weather. That is the bulkiness of her figure. Mrs. Johnson is fundamentally at home with herself, her home, her place, her yard, everything. She accepts who she is, and thus Walker implies where she stands in relation to her culture. And then Mrs. Johnson's daughter Maggie is described as rather unattractive and shy. The scars she bears on her body have likewise scarred her soul, harmed her soul, intimidated young girl, and as a result, she is retiring, even frightened. Mrs. Johnson admits, in a loving manner, that like good looks and money, quickness passed her by. She stumbles as she reads, but clearly Mrs. Johnson thinks of her as a sweet person, a daughter with whom she can sing songs at church. Most importantly, however, Maggie is like her mother at home in her traditions, her home, her house, and she honors the memory of her ancestors. For example, she is the daughter in the family who has learned how to quilt from her grandmother. This is the art she has inherited from her mother, from her grandmother. The cultural traits are transmitted through her. This is the viewpoint of the writer. D, however, is virtually Maggie's opposite. She is characterized by good looks, ambition, vigor, and education. Mrs. Johnson, we are told, collects money at her church so that Dee can attend school. A motherly love, indeed. Dee's education has been extremely important in forging her character, but at the same time, it has split her off from her family, providing a divide. Education proving to be a dividing force. Mama says she used to read it to us without pity, forcing them to listen to her. Forcing words, lies, other folks' habits, whole lives upon us too, sitting trapped and ignorant underneath her voice. She was very, very suppressive, overwhelming, vigorous as a figure in the family. D, in other words, has moved towards other traditions that go against the traditions and heritage of her own family. She is on a quest to link herself to her African roots and has changed her name to Vangero. In doing so, in attempting to recover her ancient roots, she has at the same time denied or at least refused to accept her more immediate heritage, the heritage that her mother and sister carry and share. The actions Walker's characters take, as well as their physical attributes, are symbolic of their relation to their culture, traditions, past. Dee's male companion, for example, has taken a Muslim name and now refuses to eat pork and collard greens, thus refusing to take part in the traditional African American culture. Again, Mrs. Johnson's, meanwhile, has man working hands and can kill a hog as mercilessly as a man. Clearly, this detail is meant to indicate a rough life, labored life, with great exposure to work. Symbolic meaning can also be found in Maggie's skin. Her scars are literally the inscriptions upon her body of the ruthless journey of life. Most obviously and most importantly, the quilts that Mrs. Johnson has promised to give Maggie when she marries are highly symbolic, representing the Johnsons' traditions and cultural heritage, also standing for the overall cultural tradition of the African American culture of the black race. These quilts were pieced by Grandma D and then Big D, both figures in family history who, unlike the present D, took charge in teaching their culture and heritage to their offsprings, transmitting the cultural traits to the next generation. The quilts themselves are made up of fragments of history, of scraps of dresses, shirts, pieces of cloth, and uniforms, each of which represents those people who forged the family's culture, its heritage, and its values. Most importantly, here, these fragments of the past are not simply representations in the sense of art objects. They are not removed from daily life. What is most crucial about these quilts and what Dee does not understand is that they are made up for daily life from materials that were lived in. This, in a sense, is the central point of everyday use as a story that the cultivation and maintenance of its heritage are necessary to each social group's self identification, but that also this process, in order to succeed, to be real, must be part of people's everyday use. After all, what is culture? But what is home to us? Just as Mrs. Johnson's yard is home to her. Thank you very much, dear students, for participating in this brief discussion on the use of different symbols and the art of characterization, the conflicting ideals of the characters presented in the story. See you soon in our next discussion. Till then, it is Allah Hafiz and goodbye. Thank you very much again.